In a psychiatric hospital, Dr. Daniela Upton visits the morgue where the mortician is dissecting the body of an unseen figure, having been brutally murdered. Daniela visits the murderer, her friend Dr. Elizabeth Derby, as Elizabeth begs for Daniela to destroy the brain of the corpse and begins to recount her story of why she must do so. Psychiatrist Elizabeth Derby lives a near-idyllic life with her husband Eddie, never being troubled by her patients. After a session with a patient, a young man arrives at her office and asks to talk to her. He introduces himself as Asa Waite and tells her that he believes his father is occasionally occupying his body. During the session, Asa receives a phone call from his father and appears to have a seizure before acting as if nothing happened, as well as behaving completely differently. Elizabeth is troubled by this development and that evening imagines Asa in Eddie's place while they are having sex. She goes to Asa's house, having remembered his address, and discovers his father Ephraim to be horribly sick. Relying on pills to keep him alive, Ephraim wards Elizabeth off with a large knife after she spots a book with strange creatures and symbols drawn in it. That night, Asa calls Elizabeth and she drives to his house. Finding Ephraim dying on the floor, Asa refuses to let Elizabeth hand him his pills, but Elizabeth defies his orders. Though she isn't able to stop Ephraim's apparent death, Asa tells her that they must destroy Ephraim's brain because if he says an incantation a third time, he will take over Asa's body. Ephraim, revealed to be alive, utters the incantation and causes Asa to have a seizure before seemingly dying a second time. Asa, now more confident, has sex with Elizabeth and whispers an incantation in her ear which causes them to briefly switch bodies. He notices that Ephraim's body is missing, prompting him to take the elongated knife and chase after him. Ephraim begs Elizabeth to help him as he is actually Asa in Ephraim's body, but the real Ephraim, now in Asa's body, stabs him in the neck with the knife before decapitating him. The following day, two detectives stop by the Derby residence in order to question Elizabeth about a fire at the Waite house, with Ephraim being labeled as a missing person. Elizabeth talks to her friend, fellow psychiatrist, Daniela Upton, about the body switch, but Daniela doesn't understand what she means later. Elizabeth admits to having sex with Asa to Eddie. Meanwhile, Ephraim, still in Asa's body, handcuffs himself to a pole in his cellar and calls Elizabeth, reading the incantation and causing the two to switch bodies. While in Elizabeth's body, Ephraim has sex with Eddie. Elizabeth discovers piles of flesh as well as drawings of a strange creature in the cellar. Realizing that the next body swap will be forever, Elizabeth attempts to jump out of a window at her office, but Ephraim arrives and tells her that she can escape if she successfully kills him and destroys his brain. Upon distracting him, Elizabeth stabs him in the head with his knife before throwing him out of the window. Realizing that he is still alive, Elizabeth runs Ephraim over repeatedly with her car before stabbing him to death. She is then apprehended by police officers. In present day, the heavily mutilated corpse, now revealed to be Ephraim, awakens and utters the incantation one final time, causing him to switch bodies with Elizabeth. Elizabeth in the corpse's body begins to crawl through the hospital while Ephraim decides to switch bodies with Daniela, causing the two of them to fight. In Daniela's body, Ephraim begs a security guard named Mace to shoot Daniela, but she manages to get his gun and euthanizes Elizabeth by shooting her in the head repeatedly. The two switch back and Ephraim shoots Mace to death before continuing to fight. Daniela gets ready to stab him with a scalpel as Ephraim recites the incantation again, before they are separated by police officers. Some time later, Daniela consoles Eddie in her office as Ephraim is revealed to be in control of her body while the real Daniela is trapped inside the body of a screaming Elizabeth.